this is the first time watching the Dark Knight trilogy. And I can tell you now, this started off with a banger. Batman Begins was a great start into the Christopher Nolan Batman world. Guess why? Because it showed everything that a DC Batman lover would really like. I think everything down from the childhood trauma of being scared of bats is the explanation really to why he becomes Batman, as well as his parents being killed outside the cinema / Odyssey, whatever you want to call it, leading down a dark path in which nearly ends up killing the person that killed his parents. But then obviously that doesn't go the way it goes. And in this version, I love what Christopher Nolan does, because he takes that original tale that everybody knows and makes it a little bit more fresher. Gives that zestiness to it, you could say, because at the end of the day, we know that story inside and out. But what we didn't know is that he goes to the Shadow League basically as a way of becoming Batman. It was just one of those where they stumbled upon each other at the right moments in their lives. Bruce Wayne had moved away from Gotham. He had done what he'd done. He went to go train to get stronger, to be able to fight, all the above, and learn life lessons. And when he moves away, you're getting this two different people meet each other at the right time and gets to train with the Shadow League, becoming better and becoming somebody that can return to Gotham and fight crime. However, the Shadow League have a complete different vision for what they want with Bruce, as they want him to be a weapon to destroy Gotham, in which is completely the wrong idea that Bruce had in mind, and escapes and manages to get back to Gotham and become the person that he thinks he needs to become. And the best explanation for this as well is that I love how Bruce Wayne decides to use the fear that he had as a kid when he fell down that little well or underneath the Bruce Wayne manor and found the cave and like all these bats and everything, and he's afraid of them. Nightmares about. And you know the reason why he wants to become Batman? Because he had those nightmares and wants to give that nightmare to people of Gotham and wants people to become afraid of this icon. And I think that was told by Christopher Nolan in the best manner possible. And for me, having Christian Bale step in as Batman, when a lot of people wrote him off because of how skinny he was in the previous film that he did, to then putting on all the amount of weight that he did for this film, I have a tons amount of respect for Christian Bale, because he nailed it in these Batman movies. And in particular, this one, where you just felt like he came into his own and gave his own rendition of what a Batman should be. Speaking of acting though, there was nobody that phoned it in this film. Everybody played their role perfectly. From the likes of Gordon, who was played by Gary Oldman, absolutely sensational. And throughout the franchise, he does an incredible job at being able to play that character. And I think he's one of the greatest actors of all time. And even if you're looking at the villain of Cillian Murphy, who was learning his craft at this point, I think he was exceptional. Everybody, I could go through the entire acting roster. I think everybody played their part massively. I also think that this is what we wanted to see from Batman, a different kind of villain. Because going on to the Cillian Murphy thing, I think that it was one of the first times we'd really got to see one of these underrated Batman villains, because we're used to seeing a Joker, we're used to seeing a, I don't know, Riddler, you know what I mean? We're used to seeing Two-Face, but we're not really used to seeing the likes of Scarecrow. He doesn't get utilised at all, and I thought he was fantastic in this film as one of the key villains. And you might have thought there might have been like an overcrowding of villains, like we saw in Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2, but that wasn't the case at all. I think all of them balanced each other out well, and they worked together quite well. And even when you put into the equation that there's also a third villain in that mixer as well, in Falcone, like a mafia boss as well, it was the perfect movie, the perfect start for me for this new version of Batman, because the levels of threat that he had to deal with and the way that he wanted to clean up Gotham, he just fitted with what they did. And they also put the tease in for Joker coming into the next film, which everybody knows how that went with Heath Ledger. But I think that having this amount of villains can be costly at times, but Christopher Nolan got the balance right, and it worked as a powerful rendition of the new Batman and the new face of Batman. I mean, this movie had everything that you wanted from a perfect superhero movie. And out of movie hero backstories are told, this is up there with some of the best in my opinion, because there's not many better than Batman Begins at helping to tell a superhero story in a detailed manner and becoming like a complex thing, because they even describe how Bruce Wayne is able to get the gadgets that he does, because he can't create them. He's a billionaire, but he can't create those kinds of gadgets. Who does he go to? Lucius Fox. He creates the gadgets. He creates the Batmobile. He creates most of the stuff that Batman uses to help defeat his enemies and to, defend Gotham. Brilliant. I think that was a great explanation. It made up for the fact that, he has to use people to his disposal to be able to become the guy that he needs to become. To be able to become Batman, he needs allies, and he uses Gordon quite well. And with that ending as well, where literally he has to tackle Scarecrow, Falcone, and he has to tackle the problem that is looming with Ra al Ghul. It is one hell of an ending, and you literally have Gary Oldman driving the Batmobile. Christopher Nolan nailed this, and even though in the second film we don't have a Wayne's Manor because it got burned down at the end of this film, I think it was fantastic the way that they put the movie together, the love interest with Rachel as well. I think that felt organic. Nothing felt rushed. Nothing felt that it was out of place. And I think this was about over 2 hours, just over 2 hours, maybe 2 hours 20 or just over 2 hours. And it flies by. To summarise, Batman Begins, 7.8 out of 10, a great film. Let us know your thoughts down in those comments down below, as we want to hear what you think about some of our picks. Don't forget to check out our poll midweek to determine our next movie review next week. And before we go, why don't you check out Batman 1989 movie review, because I don't think you will have seen that, and I think you should. So give that a watch.